Hi, welcome to Jill of All Trades. Tonight we have a live studio audience here with us. And we're going to do a special show. We're doing a knitting show. And we have, as a co-host tonight, we have Denise Whitehead. And then we're also going to do a fashion show right after this from the Learn to Sew program here in the city of Pinole. And I want to introduce to you Denise Whitehead, who is kind of the Pinole Hercules knitting lady. And I met Denise quite a few years ago at, one of those craft stores, that one with the guy's name, that one. So I met her there, and we kind of talked intermittently. We were both kind of crossing paths on a regular basis, and we finally, how many years has that been?
It's like 4 years.
We finally got her here on the show. And she brought some folks with her. So we're going to talk about some of the things that she does. And I want to introduce you. Denise, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So how long have you been knitting?
Well, I've been knitting for 44 years.
You're good. See, I would have said, see, you're much better than me.
I started when I was 8.
See?
Do math.
We won't do that. That's not necessary. She's a pro. That's what we want to know. So, did your mom teach you, or you taught yourself?
No, actually, our next door neighbor taught me. I hope my mom paid her because she was very patient with me.
Okay.
Very patient,
Okay.
because I would go home and I would get tired of the knitting, regular knitting, and so I would say, oh, what will happen if I wrap the yarn around the needle twice? Or what will happen if I drop one of the stitches? Or what if I knit 2 together? What does that do?
Okay.
And then I would bring it back to her the next day, and she would go, and she'd pull it off.
Oh, no.
And she'd rip it back. And
She didn't like your creativity?
Every day. Every day we did that. And we watched General Hospital, and we did our knitting. And
Okay.
then I remember one day, I must have really tried her patience, because I said, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. And she said, no.
Oh.
Come back in 3 days.
Oh, no. Okay.
So I think she needed a break.
Okay. Well, you were a creative one then. You had to invent your own stitches. Thus.
I did, and I didn't even realize it, but those were already invented. Later on, when I got knitting books and I saw that what I had invented, someone had stolen my work and published it before I had a chance.
I've experienced that same thing. You've created something that somebody has already done and published.
Yeah.
See, we're reinventing the wheel, people. We don't have to do that. But we like to. I actually have someone here who's done that in my sewing class. We won't say any names, but I know how that is when the creative juices are going, and I've tried that with crocheting. Now, I'm not a great knitter, but I am going to be a good knitter eventually when I get some time. I'm going to sit with Denise, and we're going to take different classes from each other and do some things. So you brought some things with you and some folks, and you are wearing...
I am wearing the striped kimono jacket. It's not my pattern. It's one that I got online, and I worked on it. It took me about 4 months.
Wow.
To knit this.
Okay.
And I love it.
This is very cool. Very cool. Now, is
Very
this
happy with it.
Wool?
The yarn that I used, there's 3 yarns here. One is a self-striping yarn, and it's Patons SWS. The solid color is also Patons SWS. It's a soy wool blend.
Okay. So the camera can kind of see it. We're talking about this part here?
That's
Which is-
Patons SWS.
Okay. And this one is?
Patons SWS. And the white
Oh, okay.
in the slip stitch, that's mohair,
Okay.
because I'm the mohair queen.
You are the mohair
I am the
queen.
mohair queen.
And who dubbed you the mohair queen?
I did. But everybody knows this, right? Yeah. You see they're nodding their heads.
Okay, that's fine. I call myself the fabric goddess. It's all right. We can name ourselves whatever we want. No one has, that's perfectly fine.
Well, and I am the queen of everything. And so the mohair is included in the everything part.
See, I wouldn't do that. Now, there's some things I don't even want to be queen of, but that's okay. So that's very cool. Now, tell me, is there, what stitches are there in this?
It's actually very, very simple. It's knitting and purling. And really, that's all there is in knitting.
Okay, right.
You knit and you purl, and that's the only 2 stitches, and everything is a variation. So this raised part here,
Do it from their sleeve here.
I do it from my sleeve. The raised part, the stripes, those are a slip stitch pattern where you knit a stitch and then slip the next stitch onto your finished needle.
Okay.
Then knit the next one.
Okay. Now we want to say that again. There are basically 2 stitches.
There's only 2 stitches
Okay.
in knitting, right?
Okay. So there are only 2 stitches. You're knitting or you're purling.
Right.
And then there's a variation
Right, like
of
you can
either.
knit through the back loop, or you can knit through the front loop, or you knit
Okay.
2 stitches together,
Okay.
or you
Great.
can slip a stitch and then knit the next one, or you can do the same, whatever you do with knitting, you can also do with purling. You can purl through the front, purl through the back, and it makes the stitches twist differently, which makes a different look.
Right. Right. Okay. That sounds great. Now tell us a little bit about what you've got in front of you here. And all these little charms. I'm loving this.
Those are my stitch markers that I made.
That you made.
It just keeps my place. I'm going to be putting them on my sock. This is the beginning of a sock that I started last night.
So you're pretty
So
quick.
I'm getting ready to start the heel.
Okay.
And after I get the heel started, then I will put these stitch markers in place to mark the beginning of my round and where my decreases are on each side for the gusset.
Okay. Okay.
So right now I'm just holding them there so I don't lose them.
Right. Okay. Now you want to take a couple of stitches for us and show us, and
Sure.
let's see if the camera can get close enough and just kind of walk us through what you're doing.
Well, I'm working on the heel, so I'm doing a slip stitch pattern on the heel. So I just slipped a stitch and now I'm purling, and now I'm slipping and I'm purling. And what this does is it just gives a little bit of cushion
Yeah.
on the heel. Hold it down a little
further. Maybe we can get it down.
How's that? You know, I actually brought some yarn on bigger needles to show you some stitches. This was just something I was working on while we were waiting.
Now tell us about this yarn, because I see it's got a stripe to it.
It's really cool. This is self-striping sock yarn. And they're all
Whoops.
tangled here. Self-striping sock yarn. And it just comes out this way. And when you buy it, it all looks like this when you buy it. You don't know what it's going to look like. And then as you knit it up, it's like magic. You don't have to, and you don't have to weave in any ends. You know,
Okay.
like
Does it
before, like-
matter how long your stitches are, or what the widths are, or?
Well, yeah. If I was knitting a sweater out of this, it wouldn't have stripes this thick.
Right. Okay.
Might get a row of
Okay.
one color and a row of
So you
another.
do have to kind of look at. Now tell us about the yarn itself, about the labeling and how you know.
How I know it's sock yarn?
How you know it's going to be self-striping and the size needles or stitches.
My blood.
Oh, it's in your blood. Okay.
No. Well, Opal is the name of this particular yarn, and they make self-striping sock yarn. And it all looks like this. It kind of looks like variegated, but there's just something different about it that makes me know.
Okay. Now, isn't there also a key on here as well?
That says self-striping. This is German yarn, and it's in German.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay, so that makes it a little different.
One of the closes, it says superwash.
Okay.
And most sock yarn is superwash
Okay.
because people don't want to hand wash socks. And because it's fingering weight, I can just tell that by looking at
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So I know I can use that for socks. It has wool. It says wool, W-O-L-L-E. That's how you say wool in German. I know how to say wool in 4 languages. Just in case I have a wool emergency. And the only person I can
you are
find
perfectly prepared
is
for your
someone who
wool
speaks a different
emergency.
language.
Okay.
Right.
And we hope that there are no sheep around when this takes place. So now you said you brought some other things to show us, and this was just what you were working on. What was that? What other things did you bring?
Well, what I wanted to show you guys today was some cabling, and there's different cables that you can do, and they're all basically done the same. I'm going to show you how to do one or two of them, but you can take that information and apply it to make it look differently.
Okay.
So this is a cable that I did that's a cable inside of a cable.
So we have a cable inside the cable. So this
There's
is the
actually
first
three cables.
three.
See, here's the big one right here.
Okay.
And then there's three. 1, 2, 3, and then it leads out here. And then
Oh,
there's
okay,
another one
okay,
inside
okay.
there.
Okay, now how many needles does this require to do the cable?
Cabling itself requires just 2 regular needles and a cable needle.
Okay.
The hat requires 5 needles
Okay.
because you're knitting in the round.
In the round.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. And then the other hat?
This is another hat that I designed, and it's really, it's a traveling stitch.
A traveling
A
stitch.
traveling stitch, and it's worked the same way as a cable,
Okay.
but it's only 1 stitch at a time that moves
Okay.
over, whereas this was 2 stitches,
Okay.
and this one was 3 stitches.
Okay.
This is just 1 stitch. It just moves over 1 stitch at a time.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is also knitted in the round.
That's knitted in the round, and I have, let me see here. I have the scarf that goes with that. You might be able to see the stitches better on that.
Okay. Okay, so this goes with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have other things that we're going to use out
We
of
have
it?
a few other things.
Okay, okay. So these two are the moving traveling, see, I want to change the name. The traveling stitch. All right, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome to Jill of All Trades, and tonight we have a live audience. And we're here with Miss Denise Whitehead, knitting lady from the Pinole Hercules area. And she is also the creator of Dances with Wolves.
Well, that's my email address.
Dances with, this is her, but you created that. This is her, and I didn't, you know, I've taken Denise's card and I've had it for a long time. And just the other day when we started kind of emailing each other back and forth, I noticed the email and I was like, she's just really,
Isn't that the cutest
she's
name?
just really a pistol. So we see each other quite a bit at that little, you know, that buck store where you get the coffee. So we're there a lot. She has a nice little knitting circle there.
I do.
And so tell me about that. So tell me how you got started.
Some of them are here tonight, actually. And, you know, I was working at this one little craft store that's here in Pinole. And they decided they didn't want to have knitting classes anymore. We won't mention their names. We won't mention their name.
It's that guy's name, you know that guy's
You know that
name with the
one
M?
guy? The one on Fitzgerald.
So, yes.
Anyway, they said they didn't want to have knitting classes anymore. And so when I told my students, well, there'll be no more knitting classes here, they said, oh my God, you have to teach us somewhere else. We'll pay you. And I'm thinking, yeah, you'll pay me. So we started meeting at a coffee shop, and people come and they see
Where
us
the buck
knitting.
stops.
Where the buck stops. And they see us knitting and they ask us about it, and then they come too. And sometimes we have 8 or 9 people.
Yes.
Sometimes we just have 1 or 2. But sometimes we have a fairly good group.
Yes.
And
And you know, it's funny because some of the clerks at this location
they love us.
are just, they're waiting for the knitting folks to get there. They're just, you know, and it's just really cool because if you go to the other location, which is up by Hilltop, it's a little different because you've got all the students. But when you go down to Hercules, you've got this huge circle with all these ladies, and they're just going to town, and lots of coffee. I don't
And
know
laughing.
how they do it, you know, but they're just, the needles are flying, the wool is going, and they're just knitting away. And I mean, it's really cool. I've gone and sat and actually left and come back and joined with my crochet, because, you know, I don't do the 2-knit thing. I get to do
Well,
crochet.
we let her do the C word with us sometimes.
Yes, I'm not of the knitting kind. No, I'm sorry. So tell us a little bit now. Denise is going to do a demo of some of the cable stitches. And then now tell us about your classes before we go any further. How can they get in touch with you, and, you know, when are your classes?
Okay, my classes are on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at the place where the buck stops in Hercules. And the classes are listed, the schedule, the calendar is listed on my website, which is www.thebaskeetcaselady. That's me, thebaskeetcaselady.com. My husband and my children named me that.
I see. We won't ask why, because husband is here. We are very happy to have husband, because I've seen husband come in carrying the yarn and go out carrying the yarn. And come in with a huge bag of yarn, drop it off, and then come back and pick up Denise with another bag of yarn. So husband is very cool.
keeper. He's a
He's
keeper.
very cool. What's husband's name?
Husband, no, it's Ken.
Ken. Thank you, Ken. We appreciate all of the gentlemen that support us in our crafting efforts. And it's great. We've got 4 guys tonight. It's just so cool. I am so happy for all you guys coming in, and we're not going to forget you. We're not going to forget.
We've been married 32 years.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yeah.
You 32?
He needs an
Bless
applause
you.
for that.
It's been 30 minutes. we understand. We feel your pain. So now repeat your website again.
www.thebaskeetcaselady.com.
Now on that website, I noticed too, you have some patterns that you've made.
Right.
She's creating the wheel. We've got some patterns that you've made on there. Now, are any of them here? Or these are just basics right now?
Yeah, 2 of them are here.
Okay.
Those are ones I've written also, but I've not put them up on my website yet.
Okay,
but
okay, soon, okay. Because, you know, we're going to have people call as soon as this is over and go, we want the traveling stitch.
That's going to be up within a month.
Okay. So no Christmas traveling stitches for you.
If you need the Christmas traveling stitch, email me.
Dances with wool.
WOOLS. Isn't that just so cute? Wools.
So let's do your stitch here.
Okay.
And, you know, teach us a little bit about now tell us too, this is nice and chunky. Mm-hmm. What type of wool, yarn is this?
It's a wool blend. It's Woolies Thick and Quick. Mm-hmm. And it's a bulky, chunky weight
Okay.
yarn. And actually, this is a pattern that I teach in one of my technique classes on cabling. And everyone thinks cabling is so hard because it looks complicated. And I have a couple of different swatches. I'm not sure if the camera's getting these. Tell me where to hold it. Right here?
Yeah, and just hold it up a little bit.
Of the different kind of cables.
Yeah.
And they're all
Hold it
done.
still.
They're all done pretty much the same way. I mean, obviously they're different because they look different. But once you learn the technique, you can make them look any way you want.
Okay, so now the technique is what makes the difference in whether
Right.
it's an open cable, I guess this would be called, or
Well, the big difference is which direction your cable is going. Is
okay,
it
okay,
going to the left or going to the right?
okay, okay, okay.
And so this is a scarf that I teach with my technique class for cables.
Now, is the technique class for beginners, or you need to have?
You need to know how to knit and purl
Okay,
and be comfortable with it, because
Okay.
in the technique classes, I'm not spending time on how to knit and purl. Those are
Right.
for the beginner classes.
Okay.
So when
do
you
you
come
need to be,
into
can you
the-
be intermediate or
can be
is it more
intermediate.
advanced?
If you've taken 2 or 3 knitting classes,
Okay.
you could take a technique class.
Okay, great.
Some of them
Great.
are a little harder than the others,
Mm-hmm.
but Mary and Maria here started my classes last January, and I think they've had all of my technique classes
Okay.
and
okay.
all my beginner classes.
Okay. Now, Mary and Maria, which is which? Mary?
Mary.
They're
Okay.
interchangeable.
Now, they're interchangeable. We are Borg. Okay. We are one. So, are the scarves in front of you something that you two have knitted? Okay. And, okay, Mary, why don't you tell me a little bit? How long ago did you start knitting?
I started knitting by myself, trying to teach myself about 10 years ago. And it just kind of, I got a book that says, I can't believe I'm knitting. And
That would be
I
me.
went through the instructions and all that. But then I went to that store and they had knitting classes. And so I told my sister, Maria,
Oh, okay.
let's do that.
Okay.
Because I kind of think I know how to knit, but maybe I'm not doing it right.
Okay.
So I talked her into it, and we started the classes last January, and I learned that I was doing it wrong,
Oh, my.
holding the needles wrong, doing the stitches wrong.
Okay.
So in going to see Denise, I mean, we feel comfortable, and she's a great teacher, very patient with us, I might say. And so we've enjoyed it. We enjoy it. It's social. It's fun, and we have learned so much that I mean we look forward to it. And we
Now,
just,
is the white one yours? The
yes,
off-white
the white one is the cable,
Uh-huh.
which is the big cable that Denise is going to probably demonstrate.
Okay.
And when she showed us this, and we looked at each other like, "Shut up." But as we were
Shut up, and it was easier than what you thought?
No.
No, it was
when
harder
we
than
looked
what
at it, we said, "Yeah, right. We're going to
Okay.
be doing this. Can't even hold the needles right."
Okay,
But it was okay.
okay.
I mean, she made it simple, and it was, and look, I did it. I
Very
can't believe
cool.
that.
Okay. And Maria?
Same thing. I was really reluctant to go, and my sister said, "Come on, let's go do it." And it's unbelievable. And like Denise says, it's just knit and purl.
Okay.
And it's how you arrange the stitches.
Very
And,
cool.
And now they bring Maria's daughters.
And now my daughters are knitting with me, and they enjoy it just as much. So
Okay.
it's a family thing.
Very cool. Yeah, and then they receive the benefits from it, the scarves and the sweaters. Now show us this one, and then we're going to show off one of, I guess, your daughter's sweater in just a second. So show us the stitch.
Well, the first one I want to show you is this green one.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see there's a back to it, and there's a front to it.
Okay, so there's a back and a front to the cable.
Right, and you can probably see it easier on this. This is the back. This is the part you don't want anybody to see.
Okay.
And this is the front. And I've already done one cable, so I'm going to show you how to do the next cable that's going to be on here.
Okay.
So I'm a little tangled here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purl my first 3 stitches because that's my border. And I have an 8-stitch cable. And that means that half of those are going to be in the back and half of them are going to be in the front.
Okay.
So I'm going to slide 4 of these stitches out and just hold them in the back of my work like this. And then I'm going to basically skip those 4 stitches, knit the next 4 stitches, then I'm going to pull these ones that I slipped into the back forward and knit them.
And this was that yeah right moment, right?
Now, this is when the light bulb went on.
Okay.
When they saw me do this, they went, Oh.
Okay.
And what's the secret to this? Remember this big secret? When people look at you and they go, oh, wow, that's so complicated. And you go, oh, yeah, it is. I worked really hard. And there's my
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Okay,
So
so
we're gonna.
I'm going to show it a little longer.
That's very cool. So that's the row that you just did right
This
there.
one right here
Okay.
on the top.
So and then it's going from, where are we going, from left to right?
The cable goes from left to right over the front.
Okay.
And again, if you look at the back, and you're going to wonder, why does she keep showing me the back? I'll show you in a minute. If you look in the back, this is the back. And you don't, this is the part you don't want anyone to see. It goes on the inside of your sweater.
Right.
Okay. Now this is another scarf that I designed. And it looks very much like the one you just saw, but it's reversible.
Okay.
I
So
figured out the secret.
the back or the front. Okay.
It's reversible.
Are
That
you going
means-
to share the secret, or is this a secret we have to come and visit you for?
Did you say queen of everything?
I dub you queen of everything.
There we go.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Okay. So here it is in white, which is easier to see. Here's the front.
Okay.
Are you giving them signals that I'm not the queen of everything?
No, we're gonna let you be whatever you want in your
Okay.
own mind.
And here's the back, which looks just like the front,
Okay.
which is way cool.
Okay.
So here's the secret. Cables are reversible, but your stitch has to be reversible. So this stitch here was done, the cable part was done in stockinette stitch, which is knit one row, purl one row, knit one row, purl one row. There's a right side to the knitting and there's a wrong side to the knitting.
Okay. So stockinette is knit one row, purl one row, knit one row, purl one row. Okay. And that
there's a
makes a
right
back and a
side,
front.
right.
Okay.
So what you need to do is use a stitch where the front and the back look the same.
Okay.
So you could use garter stitch, which is what I've got here on the sides. That
Okay.
looks the same in the front or the same in the back. You could use seed stitch, which is like
And what is garter stitch? Tell us the
I have
difference.
an example of
Garter
seed
stitch.
Garter stitch is just knit every row, knit every
Okay.
stitch.
All right.
And seed stitch is knit one stitch, purl one stitch, knit one stitch, purl one stitch, and then when you turn it around, you purl your knit stitches and knit your purl stitches. And it looks the same on both sides. It's not very complicated. It's like ribbing, but you're just off one
Now,
stitch.
she lost me. Did you see that? Did you see the train just take off? I was still standing at the station. I have
But
no clue.
what I did-
He's saying knit one stitch, purl one stitch, knit one. This is the only craft
Off
that
by
I am
one,
lost
off by
in.
one.
This is the only craft. But
Okay.
we're gonna get there.
But
Knit one
what
stitch,
I
purl
did
one stitch.
for my cable was I used ribbing, which is knit one stitch, purl one stitch, knit one stitch, purl one stitch, but on the next row you knit your knits and purl your purls. As opposed to seed stitch where you knit your purls and purl your knits.
And we all go to the farm together.
So you can see
I'm gonna knit my pearls and
That-
purls my knits and
the queen is talking right now. The cables are
ma'am.
the same
The cables
on
are
both
the same.
sides.
Okay.
It's like magic. And one of my knitting friends, her name is Eileen. One of my knitting friends, Morgan was there when it happened. She said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "I can't tell you." She said, "You better tell me." So I told her. 'Cause she's my friend.
That's very cool though.
I know.
That's very
So,
good.
To make it the same, it's exactly the same process. I am, let's see, I'm purling.
Now tell us how you know where you are when you're purling.
How do I know?
How,
I read my knitting.
okay,
It's like
right,
a book. You can read it.
okay,
If I turn it over, I can see what the last stitch I did, so
Okay.
I know what the next stitch is
okay.
I need to do.
Now show the camera that just real quick. So you're reading your knitting, And what you're looking at is this row right here.
So that's 8 stitches. I'm going to move 4 of them into the back,
Okay.
and I can't do it backwards though.
That's okay. That's okay. If you could do it backwards, you would just be too.
I would just have the show.
You-
That's
Okay, so if you find out that Miss Linda is missing, y'all need to find Denise because she has put me in a wool cocoon somewhere and they will not find me.
She'd be in my yarn room.
See, she's trying to bum me off with the wool, okay?
Closet. So I'm knitting I've pushed 4 into the back.
Okay,
I'm knitting my 4 stitches.
okay,
Now I'm going to pull these up into the front. And I'm going to continue with the pattern, which is purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. And then I'll end off the row with my border,
okay.
which is 3 purl stitches.
Poor thing.
Probably needs to know how to knit.
She needs to learn how to knit. She might.
And
She's okay.
so there's my second cable completed right here.
Very cool.
It's reversible.
Very cool. That was very cool. I like that. I'm going to have to learn the purl your knits and the knits your pearls and the, the thing and the. It just seems like a lot. Crochet. Get the hook.
You know, it took me 20 years to figure out how to crochet. I could not
See,
get it.
I have
could not
tried
get
to
it.
knit. So we are okay. So you do
Because-
my knitting, I'll do your crocheting, and we will hum.
When you know how to knit first, you pick up the crochet hook and you go,
Yes.
there's only one.
Yes.
And when you know how to
Exactly.
crochet first, you pick up the
those
needles
two
and you go,
needles
there's
and you
2.
go, wait a minute, there's no hook on the end. That's the first thing I said. These have no hook. Why does my knitting keep falling off? You know, that was my whole thing. Now, Denise, tell us again. Now, oh, wait, we
We actually have 2 people that I'd like to introduce you to. First one is Morgan, and she's one of my knitting friends.
and Morgan says, nuh-uh.
Morgan says, what are you doing? She's working on a pair of socks where she dyed the yarn herself.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
And she's doing 2 socks on 1 needle at the
Okay.
same time.
2 socks on 1 needle at the same time? You're just
Not a
glutton
bikini
for-
top. It's 2 socks.
She's really blowing my cover. I'm really trying to be composed, but she keeps slipping these zingers out on me. But you two socks at one. Oh, okay, very cool. Hand dyed wool, hand dyed. Okay, and I see you have one of Denise's little creations at your foot there. Is that?
Actually, it's a different pattern than
Is it
mine.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I love this little bag. This is so
This is
cool.
mine. You want to see the bottom? Look at that.
Very cool. Okay, and we have a model that's going to come up. And I want to say thank you again to everyone out in the audience. I want to say thank you to husband and to all the males in the audience. I love the testosterone. Yeah. Okay, because I know this is like watching paint dry for you guys. This is just like, yeah, whatever. There's no ball in any of this. The yarn ball's not getting it. Can we have a football, please? I am sure. But thank you guys for coming. And we have a model coming up.
This is Laylee.
And Laylee is Maria's daughter. And
Mary made the sweater for her. We all did the sweater last summer. Mm-hmm. It took us about 2 months, 3 months. It's called the Wallaby.
it's called the
Why
one.
it's called the Wallaby, honey? See the little pouch there? Like a
Oh, okay. Little kangaroo.
wallaby? Here, let me show them the hood. She's got a hood.
And she's going to have to go.
Look at that.
Very cool. Now, Laylee, stand right there.
And I actually made 2 sweaters because I have twin nieces. It was about 8 people that made the sweaters.
Oh, really? Okay, so this was a project for one of your classes.
Yeah, this was a class project.
Okay, so now tell me your name again.
Laylee,
Okay, and Laylee, how old are you?
10.
10. Yeah, you married? No? Oh, okay. So it sounds like you like this little sweater gig here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you had a lot of sweaters made for you from mom and
No,
auntie?
this is my first time.
This is
But she knits. She comes to my classes.
no, real. Okay, that was my next question. So, how long have you been knitting?
A couple years.
A couple years. What's your favorite project?
Maybe the scarf you're working on right now with the pretty
Scarf.
yarn.
Yes.
You should see this yarn.
Oh, really?
It's very pretty.
Very cool.
Show me your yarn.
Now, Laylee has been here with us all night, and I just want you to know again, if Miss Linda comes up missing, okay, because she was in my chair and just kind of looked up at me like, do you want something? So we're glad to have you. Thank you, Laylee, so much.
Can she show her scarf that she's making?
So-
Lily, where's your scarf, sweetie?
Okay, she's gonna get that. Now we have someone else coming, or is that?
No, that's it.
Okay, so give them your website one more time.
It's www.thebasketcaselady.com.
Okay, and when is your next class?
My next class is Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. So you're every Tuesday and
Every
Thursday night. Okay, at that, where the buck stops here place in
Right.
Hercules.
Right, and you pay in advance on the website. There's
Okay.
a PayPal button. I accept Visa, MasterCard through the PayPal, and that way I know how many people are coming, how many chairs to put
Okay.
together, how many patterns to bring.
So if you'd like to be a part of one of Denise's classes, you can go to thebasketcaselady.com and register there, and all of the information will be there. And Laylee is just going to show us the scarf that she is working on.
Isn't that beautiful?
And I want to commend her because I know that the first is not the easiest yarn to work on. So that looks very cool. Now, is this something you're going to wear for you? Are you making this for you or? Okay, Christmas or holiday. She's already making her Christmas. Very cool. Thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for watching. This has been Jill of All Trades. Thank you for watching. This has been Jill of All Trades Crafts, and we want to say thank you to Denise Whitehead.
I get to say something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to say,
You gotta find me in a wool cocoon. I'm telling you, it's just not gonna be pretty.
sometimes I have a materials list.
A
So-
materials list.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're coming, I have a sit and stitch group where if you're working on a project and you need some help, you can come to that and get help. We're all working on a different project. But then I have classes where we're all working on the same project. That usually has a materials list.
Okay.
Sometimes there's homework to do before you come.
Okay.
So it is important to let me know you're coming so I
Right.
can let you know what to bring.
Okay. Okay. That sounds great. And we want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. This has been Jill of All Trades. Please, please check us out on our website at thecraftlady.org. Remember, we are down here live. If you'd like to be a part of our studio audience, just give us a call or email us, and you can be out here with us having fun and hopefully not end up in a wool cocoon. Okay? Thank you. We'll see you soon.